want to give you a really quick run through from a non-accountant or a non-bookkeeper's perspective, right? Because I think often when we see Xero reviews, they're from accountants and bookkeepers and they're talking in a language we don't often understand, and it's hard to figure out how that relates to us and our business. So from a business coach and strategist perspective, what I would get you to do is first sign up for your free 30-day trial. The great thing about this is you do not need to enter a credit card. So you literally just need to put your first name, last name, email address, phone number, and country in. Agree that you are not a robot, enter the terms and conditions, and it will give you access to this great free account. And the best bit, I'll show you in a moment. Once you've done that, you'll get an email to your inbox just to get you to confirm that you're the right person, right? So confirm your account and then come on back to me and I'm going to show you through Xero. So once you're up and running, you've got your free account, what I want you to do is go to Demo Company. And this is going to allow us to access a mock kind of business so we can really play around with the features and functions. I've already got it set up here, but you will probably just see My Xero and Test. I want you to click on My Xero. And it's a little bit hidden, but down here it says try the demo company. And if you're in a different country than I am, I'm in Australia. If you're in a different country, you can change your country. So try that demo account. And this is going to allow us to pretend we've already got a business set up, right? The great thing about Xero is you log in and you see everything that you could possibly want to see. You can see any invoices that are owed to you, any bills that you need to pay. You can see your cash in, cash out. So you actually see like a visual representation of what's come in and what's come out, so you can see how profitable you are in your business. You can see your bills split down by weeks, and there's any expense claims. Down this side, you'll have your business bank accounts. So you can actually hook this up with a non-business bank account too, as far as I know, or as far as I understand. I use a business bank account. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal to set one up. People seem to think it's this really big, scary thing to set up a business bank account. And a lot of women, particularly in small business and micro businesses, run all of their transactions through their personal bank account. You don't want to be doing that. You're just making life difficult for yourself, right? You can connect this up with your credit cards. It can be your personal credit cards, and you can even add in your PayPal. Very, very cool. So let me quickly show you a few of the different things here. The first thing is reconcile 28 items. So what this is telling us is there have been 28 transactions in our business bank account, and Xero wants us to tell it what those transactions match up to. So let's pretend we create an invoice. So if we go new sales invoice, so we've got a new client or a new customer and we want to sell something to them. So let's set them up as a customer. So we'll go to all contacts, we'll go to customer, and we will add a contact. And let's add the profit lovers. Melanie Miller. And you can go through and add in any additional information that you want to add in there. And when you scroll down, you can set some really cool things like whether or not you want your bills to be GST exclusive or inclusive. So do you want to show the price of the product and then the GST separately down the bottom? Do you want to show the price of the product including the GST? You can choose the invoice template that you would like to use. So we'll just put in the very orange invoice. And you can even specify when you would like those bills to be paid, or invoices I should say, to be paid. And here's the thing, you can change all of this when you create the invoice anyway. So I'm going to create an invoice. So we've got the profit lovers. We want the due date to be 23rd of November. We've chosen the invoice that we want, but we can change that around if we want to. And then we've just got to add in the items, and we can have these items already in here. So you can see here the unit price, the quantity, there's no discount. It's got the account, the GST, and there's the invoice. And then we just hit approve and we have an invoice done. So now we have that new invoice in the system, and it's showing that that invoice is due in the future because I set the date to the 28th of November, right? So it's showing when that money is due to come in. So you can see from a business perspective how you can log in here and go, right, how much money am I going to have coming in over the next few weeks? Wow, I've got 6,187 from those invoices. I've got 8,000 coming in, 8,700 coming in the week after. I've also got to make sure that I'm paying these bills. I've got these bills the week after. Gives you a really, really good overview of what your business looks like. So we'll head to reconciliation, and this is where we're matching our bank account transactions with any invoices or any expenses, any money that we've spent from our business, any money that's come into our business. So it will give you 4 different options. Here are all of the transactions that have come in from our bank. So this is all happening automatically too, right? You log in, say you're with Westpac Bank. You log in and Westpac Bank will have already given Xero all of this information here. You don't have to enter anything. All you've got to do is match it with a Xero transaction. So we've got Ridgeway University here, and they have deposited $6,187.50 into our bank account. So what we want to do is match that with the invoice that belongs to, so that we know now that that invoice has been paid. So Xero, wherever you see the green, is telling you what it thinks that transaction is matched to. Sometimes it gets it wrong, but that will be because it can only go on its best guess, right? So you check, make sure that the details look the same, and the invoice number is sitting right down here, so we know it's the same, and we just hit OK. And what it does is it tells Xero this money belongs to that invoice. And so we know we don't need to chase that person for that invoice anymore, right? It's done, it's dusted. So this usually freaks people out, this reconciliation bit. But honestly, you could invest in a couple of hours with a bookkeeper and they would have you understanding this in no time at all. It's really not complicated once you get your head around the basics. And if you need to, get a bookkeeper in to help you set it up in the first instance so that you know what you're doing. It's also very easy for a bookkeeper to come in and do a little bit of what's called cash coding. So this is a much faster way if you're quite accounting or bookkeeping savvy. You can come in here and actually just code things in instead of matching them up. So this is a great quick way for bookkeepers to do this work. Now you've also got the option of adding other people to your Xero, so you can give your bookkeeper access. So if you get stuck or if you need them to do a couple of hours work, you can let them know. They can log in from wherever they are and they can see what they need to do in your Xero. So we'll head back to dashboard. I've showed you how you create an invoice. How you enter a bill is very much the same. You've got accounts here, which if you get your bookkeeper to help you set this up in the beginning, makes it super, super simple. You've got payroll here. Now, once again, if you've got a bookkeeper, they will help you set this up in the beginning. Xero have some amazing training resources to help you understand how to use all of this stuff. My favorite part of this is the reports. You've got a budget manager, which means that you can actually sit down and figure out what your business should look like in terms of income and expenses over the next 3 or 6 or 12 months. This is a great way to figure out whether or not you feel like you're going to make a profit in the future. A lot of people say to me, oh, I wish I had a crystal ball. And I'm always like, we don't need a crystal ball. You just need to sit down and do a cash flow or a budget, right? And this will help you actually do a budget. You can enter in here what you assume your sales will be based on what you did last year. You can enter in any cost of goods you might have. You can enter in all of those expenses that are regular expenses that you know you're going to have. And at the bottom, it will actually tell you whether you're going to make a profit or a loss. So you could just sit here and play around with these numbers, right? And figure out what your business is going to look like in the future. Let's have a look at some of the other reports. My favorite report is the profit and loss report. This will tell you
once again, whether or not you're making money or not. So if we look at this profit and loss report, it's showing us November, October, and September, and sorry, I'm going backwards there, August, September, October, and November. It's showing us the sales that have come in those months. It's showing us the purchases that we've made. And these purchases up here, cost of sale, are the things that you might use to make a sale. So if you're baking cakes, then it would be your flour and your sugar and your chocolate icing and all of that sort of stuff. So it will give you a gross profit. And then it will show you all of your different expenses for your business. And at the very bottom, it'll show you whether or not you've made a profit or a loss. This is a great report. It really helps you understand where money is coming in and going out of your business. If you want to grow a business, this is really, really essential stuff. And you don't need to have a business that's turning over hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I started on Xero when my business was doing $50,000 a year. At $50,000, the cost of Xero was 1% of that. I was more than happy to invest that to be able to see all of these reports, right? I could see whether or not I was being a little bit generous with my office expenses or my printing or my stationery, or if I hadn't been spending anything on my advertising, and I could see the effect that it had on my sales. So the reporting in this is awesome, and you don't need to know how to use every single one of these reports. I think people look at these programs and they're like, God, look at all of the different things in here. And if I use this program, I'm going to need to know how to use every single one of these. And you do not need to know that. Choose 2 or 3 things that will help you understand whether or not your business is making money and stick to those. It's a great way to very quickly and easily manage your business. And when you can manage the finances in your business, you can grow your business. Now, I'm not going to take you through too much more of this. I just wanted to show you a couple of the things that I know from my clients. And my clients generally have a turnover of, say, 50 through to 500 grand, right? And I know for a lot of my clients, they get very scared by this. It looks too big for them to digest. And once I've quickly run them through it, they're like, wow, is that all it is? That's not that scary at all. Have a look on the Xero website and check out some of the great training videos they've got available. And let me know how you go. I would love to hear some feedback on what you thought about Xero.